We are going to kick off this land use and planning meeting of Monday, April 27th at 4:30 p.m. Welcome, everyone. To start her off, we'll review the April 13th meeting minutes.
I move to approve meeting minutes of April 13th. That looks fine to me.
Second that. Second that. Any discussion?
Appreciate not having to write them.
Fabulous. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Number 2, rodeo MOU, up for discussion by full council. So, Mr. Dave, I take it we got our updates and trying to figure out which page they are in our thick packet.
I'm
Or are they
sorry,
not?
I was, my brain was someplace else and didn't hear what you said, but I didn't know. What are you looking for?
Rodeo MOU?
We do not have, sorry, that is, the answer is no.
Okay. We will continue to push that until we do. Ordinance number 960, second amended, Title 8, Chapter 8, use of city-owned land, up for discussion by the full council. So I did go through and updated Title 8. Everything was yellow highlights. It is in our packet, page 44 is where it starts. So just a refresher, this is our public events ordinance that goes through the process of that and having permits and applications. And it was brought to our attention that solely expressive activities were being included as something that you need to apply for and pay permit fees for, and we didn't feel that was accurate. So added a whereas, and again, feel free to tweak, edit, however you like. This is just Chelsea putting brain to paper, which isn't always pretty. It is the intent of the City of Red Lodge to encourage and allow the citizens freedom of speech and expression, and has no intention of hindering that right or limiting the citizen in their ability to protest. The next edit that was made was under picketing. The reason I brought that up is the original version read funny to me, to where it was specific just to work, and I wanted to be able to include more of just picketing on a whole. And so pulled the actual definitions in our definition section. Standing or marching, usually while holding a placard or sign in a public space during a strike or demonstration. And then I noticed that someone added when the number of picketers are less than 10.
Yeah, that seemed new to me.
I didn't add that.
Is that how it happens when there's
We were
like...
at that meeting and a number never came up,
Yeah.
so I don't know how.
I don't know, because it literally from what I presented, or like what I sent last week to have put in the packet versus what ended up in the packet, that appeared.
So does that include 10 picket signs or 10 people?
Yeah, I'm just.
Or is that, or is it only...
I'm gonna just say that we slashed that, before we go to vote on that, but
I think you sent it to Dennison, and it went through Dennison and came to the packet, I'm guessing, so.
and so he didn't mark up any of his changes?
We're just gonna go through-
But it sounds
So
like.
now I'm curious what else is in here that's not highlighted that is also
Yeah.
altered.
Stellar.
Good question.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Picketing has traditionally been, associated with labor disputes.
Yeah.
And this is also going to be any demonstration as well, that are holding
Yeah.
signs?
That's any flavor.
That's what you're proposing, but.
Okay, the mayor, can I also say that this is a committee meeting, and if there's a mayor that is part of the committee meeting, that, is a little concerning to me, because you are there at a committee, at a council meeting to give advice, and not in a committee meeting. To me, that's going over your maximum number of people involved. But that's just a concern. But indeed, you expect the picketing to also relate to demonstrators?
Yeah, so essentially trying to broaden that to be any type of picketers that are coming through. So that can be for any demonstration, whether that's political or labor.
And so the one that we were grateful that you addressed for the recent rally
Mhm.
of expression would be exempt from this picketing.
Well, even picketing would be exempt per how we're writing this. It's just a definition. This is basically making sure that because you show up with a sign, you're now not required to do a permit. So this is just a definition of what picketing is, not so much any of the rules behind it. We get into that further down.
Okay,
Does
so
that-
it's beyond just labor
Yeah.
demonstration.
Yeah, standing or marching while holding a sign
Yep.
in a public space.
Yep. Basically, making sure that that's not infringed upon or limited. That's more so it, trying not to limit that kind of demonstration.
And so would you define what a picket is? Is it holding a,
Play card?
Sign or placard.
Sure.
Picketing, standing, or marching, usually while holding a placard or sign in a public space during a strike or demonstration.
right, or demonstration? Okay, gotcha.
Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Um,
thanks for clarifying that.
Just to add, and I said the council can do whatever they like, but the input that the city attorney gave was actually in line with what Betsy just shared, is that picketing is a term specifically kind of used and reserved for labor disputes, and that was what was in there. Again, you guys can change it to what you want to, but that was what he had told us last time, that picketing was related to labor disputes.
I don't think it matters, it'll just include labor.
Yeah, it still includes it. It's not like we're getting rid of it. And also, it doesn't say that in here from what Dennison put in.
No, there's nothing.
It just says that the number of pickers are less than 10. That's what was added. I don't see any notes
Why?
about that from Dennison. Sorry, I'm just a little frustrated I don't like finding changes in things in the packet
I don't
versus
either,
what
and
we.
like I said, without doing a document compare, I'm glad it's up, because he just said, use this version and send it in, so I haven't looked through this at all, so.
Cool. So going down, and I'll try and do a comparison, or if we can just have Dennison clarify what changes were made, that would be helpful.
Leave it to AI.
I'm sure I'm happy to follow up with him
We
and
can-
say, will you please summarize what changes you made?
That would be helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll include
Do
him
we
on
need to
that.
change it?
Well, I'm just trying to see why there would be a limit.
Yeah, I don't
Why
see
is there,
a limit.
why is there a number
Yeah.
other than?
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but regardless, it will get struck out of here, because I don't think, if you have more than 10, kudos. Anyway, trying to move forward from that.
Between a mass picketing, is that what he was trying to eliminate? Is there?
Maybe he wants to have permits for more than 10, I don't know. But until we have an answer from him, like, I don't know how it got added in, and, again, we'll just wait till we hear from him and figure out any other
that's
additions that
interesting.
he decides to make. But anyway, continuing on,
I'm going down a rabbit hole.
yeah, going down a rabbit hole. Number 8, exemptions, or 884 exemptions.
Mhm. Oh,
Number E was highlighted, organized, activities by user groups using recreational facilities, their memorandum. Online, Millie?
Yes? Hello?
Hi, we heard you and wasn't sure if you wanted to speak.
Where are you right now? And I'm having problems with Zoom, sorry. I don't see anybody.
Okay.
Um, hold on.
We're,
text on it. You are?
we see you.
I don't see you.
Hold on, he's working
He's
on it.
working.
Oh, camera's not on.
Oh, silly. Was it not on the whole time? I feel like it was on before.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
no.
Now it is.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Hi.
But we're working on, event permits and freedom of speech, essentially. So, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I'm waiting to talk about the trail.
Okey-doke. Well, then we'll just keep moving on, and, we'll be on to that here in just a minute.
Okay, thank you for checking in.
Yep, thank you. All right, so number E, I just found this interesting, and I think it's something else that we need to edit. So when I was just reading through, organized activities by user groups using recreational facilities under a memorandum of understanding with the city. Groups want exclusive use of the recreational facility holding an MOU with the city, need to coordinate directly with the user group. So this is basically saying if someone has an MOU, specifically like coal miners, or I think of like an MOU with Pride Park, they would have to go to the garden club to coordinate events with how this is written.
That's where yeah, okay, all right, so yeah.
Well, what scenario is this trying to capture is my question. Like, is that if someone wants to hold a demonstration at an ice rink or like at a...
Well, this is talking specifically exemptions.
Right.
So, and I think what this is trying to capture is that user groups that have MOUs are exempt from having to fill a permit.
Right. That makes sense. But
That makes sense to
But
me.
then-
So that part can stay. But then the whole part where other groups that want exclusive use of that space
Mhm.
have to coordinate with the user group.
Directly with the user group.
So like if you wanted to demonstrate on the...
And it's not even demonstration, this is just any activity.
Or if you want exclusive use of the Frisbee golf course.
Yep.
Then you'd have to coordinate with the Frisbee golf people, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
but also like with Lions Park, if you have an MOU with Lions, you'd have to coordinate with Lions Park for all those different events that are being held there.
I think the recreational facility part kind of
That's what throws me off, like, what is,
that?
so is Pride Park recreational?
Park, but I guess not.
Can you,
Maybe if it were
so-
the basketball court or some specific
right, because I'm like,
discrete thing.
okay, so this is just the recreation, I don't know, am I looking into it too much? Like recreational facility, like, that limits,
I guess this would be more for like soccer fields then.
Right.
And that type of thing.
coal miners,
Right, soccer field. would be an
Lions
example.
Park.
But also, I don't know, is that something that we have done in the past with our city staff? Dave, do you know?
Has that ever come up?
Has it?
I'm sorry, again, I was following up on the last view.
That's okay. Question with groups that want exclusive use of a recreational facility holding an MOU with the city must coordinate directly with that user group versus the city.
That does not seem in line with what we have done before. The MOU is just if they're doing something, they let us know, and the terms are a little bit different.
Right.
But we do not give them, most standard MOUs do not give them right
To coordinate.
to do that in our stead. The one exception to that is the MCA on airports, is we do give that to an airport board. But like if the soccer field or Lions or the garden club, the garden club doesn't take over the responsibility of signing that spot out. That's still done through the city. Did I understand the question?
Yep, that's
Yeah,
perfect,
well,
thank
that's
you.
what I was
I just want to make
I
sure
don't
that that
remember.
is in fact what I was
Is that something you added, or is
remembering.
that something else that was?
That's
It
something
was just
else
in there.
that was in there.
Is that the blue there? So he just missed adding blue to this one.
No, that was my blue.
Oh, okay.
I put that as a question. Yellow were changes that I made, blues were things that I had questions on. I color coordinate.
I need a key.
Yeah, that's what we meant.
I need a key.
Yeah, sorry, I'm really bad about not telling people my method of madness. Really good about coordinating my own brain, but not good about explaining it to other people.
All in your brain together. Good job.
So that was just a question, and if you guys are up for it, I think we should just scratch that second line. But I wanted to confirm that we all felt the same
Organization for
way.
user group meeting records for the member. So just erase just the whole,
Yeah, I think that user groups, like the folks that actually have the MOUs are exempt from filling out applications or getting permits, but
It's a weird aside to stick in here. I guess.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
think we should scratch that,
Huh.
if that works for you guys. So, okay.
I'm trying to think of a situation where this would be feasible, like we'd actually need to use it, and
And well, even if it were, I'd want it in a different spot because it's
Right,
all under
yeah.
exemptions.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that would be something that would be put within, like, filling out an application if there's,
Right.
that'd be, you're absolutely right, be in a different location.
not.
Okay, so moving on to F on this, and this is talking about exemptions from permits. Demonstrations or rallies involving solely expressive activity may be conducted on city property without a permit, subject to the restrictions set forth below. 1, the event shall be conducted on property that is not occupied by another event, so you can't just crash someone's birthday party. 2, a spokesperson of the event should provide written notice to the city authority of the date and time of the event and provide an estimate of the approximate number of people who will be participating, so the city may assess the need for additional public services. And then 3, consumption of alcoholic beverages, physical alterations of the property, sales of goods or services, and solicitations are prohibited at the event. Any damages to city property may be the responsibility of the individuals who caused said damage. So basically, it's requesting, it's just you should provide a written notice so we know something's happening in case we do need emergency vehicles there or need to plan for anything along that nature. It doesn't require it, it just says should. So it's a soft, very little teeth ask, but it is with the public health and safety in mind, as well as number 3, this isn't an opportunity to fundraise or make money. This is strictly a demonstration, and expressive.
Kelsey, is there a time frame in there of any event?
I did not put a time frame, because frankly, it's one of those things that it could be, you could tell them 60 days in advance, you could tell them an hour in advance.
Maybe, really?
Yeah.
We want to have that limited notice of the.
End of the day, if we're fortunate to have the notice, great. That's a good neighbor way to do it, but also it's your ability to be able to go out. Again, this is trying to open it up to be as free as possible.
And the previous one had, something about 48 hours to be
Yeah.
considered a spontaneous thing and carving out a definition for that, and I think this is
Yeah.
better
Yeah,
in terms of capturing what we wanted.
And I think the purpose of that was, from a staff standpoint, is so that we have, if it's something we can plan for, we want to plan for,
Yep.
but news activities such as what we saw in the last year, you don't always have that. Something happens yesterday and.
Yeah.
Well, to Jeremy's point, anything that's quite large is not going to be spontaneous.
Sure.
And I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for a minimum of 3 days notice or something like that, so that the city can prepare. I'm just acting, on the benefit of the city.
Sure. I mean, again, I think that I don't necessarily want to put a timeline on it personally.
Okay.
And I understand where you're coming from on that. I would just hope that I would mute my phone more often. But I would just hope that people would provide that notice considering this, and, yep, and then end of the day, it's a freedom of speech activity, to me, should be as free as possible. So those, I think, were the bulk.
There's some more down in
I think that was actually
the
from
insurance part.
oh, right, insurance part. It's a waive.
waive
Yep.
insurance requirements.
So insurance, item B,
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah, we just basically,
Are we just
All of
mixing
it.
that, or do we change? I didn't read what it said before.
so, gosh, where was
What?
it? I wish I had the before.
I do too, because I wanted to read what B actually said.
I think it actually had most of this in there,
Oh,
but we added the event involves solely expressive activity.
okay.
Because originally it was if the applicant is an indigent or is for an solely expressive activity and it's indigent, got in there, we'll do that, right, thank you. And, but so the intent of that one was the fact that we wanted people to have the opportunity to have an event, whether or not they had the money to do so, or to get the insurance, all of those things. So again, birthday party, you have a family that can't afford to get the insurance, they just want to have a good time for their kids, this would qualify that. But before, the way it read, it was like strictly for protest, or like strictly for expressive activity and not for anything else. And then also like,
And only if you couldn't pay.
yeah, versus like expressive activity should just be free whether you can pay or not. And then, yeah, So we added expressive, we separated it out basically into two lines. And then I think the only reason that yellow is highlighted is because that whole section was highlighted.
I think
don't-
between 1, 2, and 3, it's pretty clear to me,
Yeah,
and if Dennison was good with it, then.
Yeah, did he?
he might have been, he might have added changes, I don't have them side by side.
That's why I was like, oh, what did he change? It kind of makes me nervous.
Now I have like 3 versions, but I'll get but he'll be sending his updates, so. But otherwise, besides the bottom where it's yellow for updating the dates and whatnot, that was pretty much all the changes we made within that. Any thoughts, questions, concerns?
I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Josh Eads. So we're saying basically that you don't have to get the approval of the city to hold an event. So let's say 2 groups want to use Alliance Park.
So I'm just gonna clarify this real fast.
Yeah.
So it's not that you don't have to get approval for an event. It's strictly for expressive activities. So political demonstrations, protests, things that are covered within the First Amendment.
But I'm just saying, if there's a group that's already says, okay, we're going to have a birthday party at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and I have an expressive event, and I just bring my people down there at 1 o'clock.
So we actually have that in here as well, to where you can't do that if there's already an event
Already,
taking
where
place.
was it?
Okay.
So there's not 2 parties
Okay, cool.
clamoring. If that protest or whatever the expressive use has claimed that space first, I can't go there and say, but I wanted to have my birthday party. I also can't crash it the other way. So unless you want to have a really like politically charged birthday, which you might.
But could you reserve it if you wanted to?
You could.
Yeah.
But that's one thing is with this,
Okay.
you do have to fill out the permit for exclusive use.
Okay. That's what I was kind of getting at. So
Yep.
if if you plan weeks ahead of time for this Saturday,
Yep.
and then someone beats you to it by 15 minutes,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it's,
In F1, it says, event shall be conducted on property not occupied by another event, so.
yeah. And again, specifically, if you want exclusive use of a space, you have to fill out the permit.
all right.
Madam Chairman,
Sir?
how do you address it if I have 2 spontaneous groups show up at the same park at the same time?
Well, if they're both non-reserving, then they get a share. That's,
'Cause
That's
I'm sure
how
those
that
2
is.
groups are gonna be absolutely saying the same thing.
oh man, end of the day, that's just, that's rally, like.
Chelsea, I'm sorry,
Sure.
one more. What if the birthday parties, what if you had a reserve for one in the afternoon?
Mhm.
Birthday party people showed up at 12:30,
Mhm.
and they would have no knowledge because they didn't check that something was happening at 1.
Mhm.
The 1 o'clock lefties got there and the birthday party was going on, but it says, well, you can't interrupt something that's going on.
Mhm.
But we reserve, if there's not a sign-up sheet,
There is,
but how would the person that doesn't have to sign up know that?
that's why it's good for them to call ahead, and that's why it's good to provide that notice. But if you,
Well, this is-
say you're having a spontaneous event, it's all of us, we wanna go protest, we go to the park, and there's some kids there having a birthday party, we gotta move on.
Right, but if you planned the protest
Yep?
in advance, but the people giving the birthday party didn't,
Oh, well, then that's on them,
For not
not
having
planning ahead.
an
even
exclusive
though
use.
that says, well, you can't have one if something else is going on. Anyway,
I'm confused on where you're coming from. Did the birthday party fill out a permit?
no,
Then they have to share the space. That's how this works. With all of the downtown area, if you want exclusive use of the space,
exclusive is the key word.
that's the key word.
Then you
If
have
you
to
want that
apply
to
for it.
yourself, then you have to fill out a permit. If you don't fill out a permit, you have to share. So that might mean that your birthday party and a protest can happen at the same time.
Memories.
You get cake, and you get cake.
Great.
Yep.
It could be fun.
Does that make sense? Does that clear it up a little bit? Okay.
It's like going to a restaurant and for a bridal
Yeah.
shower and.
Yeah, you know, it's like getting a reservation at a restaurant. You can't just show up assuming that you're gonna get the table because it's your birthday, when someone else came in and got the table ahead of you. Or, God, maybe you should just share the table with the other group. Like, sorry, we're gonna have our birthday party here too, hope you guys like pizza. So, anyhow,
Only if you brought presents.
only if you bring presents, okay. Does any other questions from the room?
Yeah, so the exclusive use is where it comes into play. So yeah, if I decide to have my kid's birthday party and I didn't tell anybody and I'm just like, oh, we're just gonna do it at the park, and then a bunch of protesters show up, it's gonna be like,
That's a fun birthday.
Game on.
Yeah.
Even though they had a reservation.
Well, now, if we didn't have a reservation, like,
Yep.
if we did have a reservation, then it would be like, hey, I can call the city, FYI, we have a permit for this. We can-
Get these revelers out of here.
Right,
Yeah.
unless they brought me presents.
Yeah.
And then it's another, you know.
Or, again, if the revelers have exclusive use of that as well, they can be like, sorry, we're having our protest here, you are, either they could be nice and let them have the birthday, or.
Actually, that is something we should probably, so look at F1, should we change it to be not occupied by another
Reserved event.
reserved event, or, permitted event?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Good call.
Permitted
That way, to
versus
Yeah,
occupied.
clears up all
the
that.
mayor's point, it's, yeah.
Wait, no, but it
We
said,
wouldn't
oh, you're
necessarily
right, I'm in the wrong
have to
spot. I was reading
Like I
the
said,
wrong
conducted
F.
on occupied.
That way we don't have a situation where somebody catches wind of someone's protest and we're gonna
have a birthday party.
preoccupy the space so
I'm
that,
gonna have
you
a
know,
birthday party.
or a birthday party, whatever.
Yep.
Could have some aggressive, middle schoolers or something.
Right. Okay, so I will make that edit. And then otherwise, I'll wait to hear from Dennison, and I'll have updates for that hopefully by tomorrow, so. Okey dokey, good work, team. Next up, donation for City Trail, follow-up from the tour. If anyone from this group gets to go to the tour,
I went to a prior tour. I
okay?
didn't go to the wind.
After our the last meeting, I did do a drive-by-ish.
Mhm.
I also drove by the tennis courts, and my daughter was like, what are you doing here? Not about you. Yeah, not about you. Welcome to my life. But yeah, I did drive up there to see, and like, to what you were saying, it probably would have been more beneficial, but I also was like, oh, that seems like a place that I want to start at the top and work my way down.
This can make the easier path, for sure, going up.
I don't, it did seem kind of marshy where it was, but that being said, no, I did not go on the
Okay.
actual tour.
Mr. Dave, do you have an update from that tour?
I did go. It is my understanding that Parks is having a follow-up at their meeting, I want to say on the 6th.
Okay.
And then we will be getting, their input and recommendations from that.
Perfect. Okay. 6th of May. Perfect. I know that there's a lot of people in the room that are here for this section. Does anyone want to speak at this point on the donation of land and potential trails? Sir?
See, that's what happens when you sit in the back row.
Yeah. That's why I like the front, easy to just pop right up.
Yeah, Steve Wright, 215 Nutting. And I have a letter here that was published in this week's Carbon County, Letter to the Editor.
Yes.
And I would like to read this letter as part of public record.
Okay.
That's okay?
Yes, please.
Titled Balanced Access with Stewardship in Trail Development. I support a Beartooth recreational trail connecting the airport trail to downtown by way 8th or 9th Street, but the current approach raises serious concerns. The project appears to rely on a potential private land donation with conditions that would dictate the trail's design on a portion of the adjacent city-owned property. The design would require the unnecessary demolition of a hillside that contains a freshwater spring ecosystem that supports well-established native trees and provides essential erosion control. The public land should be preserved. There are already existing access points to the hillside. Using these routes could achieve the same connectivity while minimizing environmental impact and avoiding unnecessary public expense. A connector trail is a valuable goal, and it can be achieved in a way that respects both the environment and the community. Decisions involving public land should reflect community input and long-term stewardship, not be shaped solely by private conditions. I urge the City of Red Lodge to fully evaluate environmental impacts and alternatives before allowing private conditions to dictate the use of public land. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that.
I think Ann Joanne sent this email. She sent it, well, yeah, I'm not sure.
Would anyone else like to speak to the trail?
Yes, I would. I would.
Yes, Millie, go ahead.
So I live at 8th and Nutting, and I'm concerned about the push to get this trail in. I agree 100% with Wooly or Steve Reeds, but we do not know why the person donating the land is insisting on running the part of the trail, the beginning or the end, through city property when there is an existing road right there. It's North Adams. People can come out and make a left and then make a right onto Nutting. But from what we have been told, that if the trail doesn't go exactly where this person wants it, then the whole land donation is off the table. And nobody seems to know why he's insisting on that. Like Wooly said, and I can read my letter, I am a homeowner with property at the corner of 8th and Nutting Streets, and I strongly support the Beartooth Recreational Trail that would connect the airport trail to downtown Red Lodge via 8th and 9th Streets. It is a much-needed connection to town from outlying locations nearby, providing additional safety for folks wanting to walk into town. My concern is the forward momentum this plan has taken without further considerations for trail placement. The project relies on the generosity of a private landowner who is donating a portion of his land for the proposed trail. The owner demands a portion of the trail go through a small piece of city-owned property, stating the offer of his donated land is off the table if the trail does not go exactly where mandated. The reasons for the exact trail placement demand have yet to be revealed. There is no explanation. No one knows why. Therein lies the crux of the situation. Where the trail is slated to begin or end effectively and unnecessarily destroys a little hillside plat of city land containing a freshwater spring that provides an ecosystem for native plum trees, plants, and grasses. In addition, it also provides habitat for wildlife, especially for deer who often use the safety of the dense cover of the plum trees to give birth to their fawns. This piece of land is also essential erosion control for the hillside. There already exist roads leading to the hillside trail access point, the unmaintained roads of North Adams and Nutting. The use of these roads will completely mitigate the need to destroy the undisturbed hillside property, thus negating any environmental impact as well as avoiding unnecessary public expense. Other alternatives exist that won't incur environmental damage to public land.
Thank you, Millie. And I believe, did you send that email to or that letter to council already?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Perfect. Well, then we will make sure that we have that on record as well. Anybody else? Yes, you had something as well?
Oh, just about the tour, my understanding is the 10th Street proposal and the 12th Street proposal were not feasible to put a trail in. Okay. The reason for the tour was to look at all three spots.
okay.
And the 8th Street is the desired spot with the land donation that has already been proposed.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, I look forward to hearing from the Parks Board and their recommendations and thoughts from the next meeting. So, let me look at my calendar. So there.
I'm behind you.
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry.
I will add, one comment from the tour. There was an assertion that was made there, and I sought a clarification, and the landowner is here, so he can certainly correct me if I misspeak. There was a comment that the trail comes out in alignment with the park because that's all the more of the land he's interested in donating. There was not a directive that we needed to So basically, if you come down into that park, there's a road that goes, there's a path that goes straight, there's a road, the old nutting that goes across the side. There was no requirement that trail, that existing trail be shut down or turned off, just that we provided an alternative that went down on the city land, which is in fact part of the park, that we provided a path that went down from that standpoint. So my understanding has not been, I said that the donation is not, here's the whole property, it's here's a portion of the property. It gets you to the part that is the park without venturing far enough north where there is a spring and some water. And then once it's to the park, it is understood that some people may walk down the hill. If we have provided that option, it is understood that some people may walk north because maybe they live north and that's closer to where they were going. And that was clarified at the tour, and if I misspoke any of that or misrepresented any of that, please feel free to correct me, but that was my understanding from being there.
We don't want that hillside destroyed, and if people walk there, there's going to be significant damage. And there's really, I don't understand why they can't just use North Adams, why there has to be any disturbance to that little plat of land. And it's already mapped out to go through the whole plum tree area.
Well, we'll, again, get those responses from the Parks Board and Beartooth Trails, yeah.
And is this, my understanding, this is city land and not city park? We need to make a distinction.
It's actually both, the triangle is.
Yeah.
I don't see that platted anywhere that it's the city park.
You got the.
Might I point
You pulled that
out,
one.
until an adjacent landowner decided to clean up, it had been a garbage dump for 15 years, to my knowledge. There was a water heater there, trash, and there's no spring in that triangle. The springs are in my land. I'm Greg O'Neill, by the way.
And that park is designated on the zoning map. If you go out, it's a little park, it's a little itty bitty triangle. But it is,
Like all the other parks are saying, Coal Mines Park.
it doesn't have a name, it just has a triangle that
It has a
says city park.
designation. It is designated.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for clarification, I was up there yesterday on city ground, and there is spring water running on city property.
Oh, I believe it 100%. That whole hill is
That
spring.
whole hillside.
Again, there's not just one, there's all sorts.
Too far up.
There's a puddle there, fine, but most of it comes out of my property.
Yeah.
The Crow Indians know about it, I get a letter every year.
Oh, okay.
9th and 8th.
Yeah. So, yes, there is a chunk, and it is designated currently
Right,
as
found
park space. But yeah, that is, we'll, again, wait to hear from the Parks Board and for their recommendations. The good news is their meeting will be taking place before our next council meeting. So we will be able to have that report, for our next meeting as well. And I know that in the past, Beartooth Trails has done a phenomenal job of every trail that they've put in and is very careful to maintain the space as well as the ecosystem. So we will make sure that is a consideration as well, because we certainly don't want to see any adverse, what's the right word for this?
Impact?
Thank you, adverse impact. My brain is, woof. I had a lot of sugar today, and it is just turning to leave.
Madam Chairman, with your blessing,
Yes, sir.
I'll just clarify that once Parks makes their recommendation, this will ultimately come back to full council. So it'll come to this board again. It'll go to full council twice, because that's how we do things. It'll be for discussion at one meeting, and then it will be for the action at the next meeting, presuming that council chooses to move it forward. So this meeting here, you'll note this and some of the other projects are just an intent to make sure that everybody's current with all the latest developments on all these projects. This is not a one and done conversation. I just want to make sure everybody's very clear on that.
We take lots and lots of time to look things through. And specifically, we take a little bit of time over long periods of time to look at things. So, okay, next up on our agenda, Coal Miners Park Tennis Complex updates and next steps. Any?
I can tell you that the road, the issue of there being a right-of-way road across that square, because before the high school existed and the road went up and there's a little T that goes in over into Coal Miners Park and then you turn right, you go to the high school. There used to be a diagonal trail that went across where that field is. And we have an updated MOU with YWS, so that constraint is no longer there. Before that project moves forward, we need to adjust that boundary line of the lease land, which the high school has leased. Those of you who've seen that may remember it's kind of a jagged and weird line on there that the high school lease land is. Again, the roads weren't there yet at the time. I can't really speak as to what was there. They've indicated they are okay to do that. We got additional requests through the Parks Board to make that a straight line, which would address some of the disc golf holes. You'll recall some of them either end or begin on stuff that is leased land to the high school. And so the goal is to get those addressed all at the same time. None of those are particularly yesterday type timeframes because they are still collecting funding, including they have made a request to the Reserve Tax Board for a couple $100,000 for that. And as you all know, that will not be approved. We're just getting ready to start our budget season in May, and that won't get approved until August or September this year, Jeremy?
August is the...
Yeah. The second Tuesday after the first full moon following a sprouting of a wildflower on the east side of a mountain. It's a really weird language. But so the financing will not be available, so that project, there's no way that's happening this year. They are working toward that, but again, at that point, it will then come to council for approval, and if that's not addressed prior to that point, we can just make that as a condition that that needs to be in place to do that. So, but the YWS one is cleared up. There's still a high school one, and there's still the matter of budgeting and also the matter of council approval.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Red Lodge Ice updates, next steps. Red Lodge Ice are working with the Public Works Director to put together the RFC. Okay. They are not allowed to release the RFC until the Public Works Director signs off on it. Okay. And that has not occurred yet. There was a little bit of distraction that involved many of the people involved with that project last week, so. Yeah, geez. So there really isn't a new update, but we'll keep it here and make sure that we're sharing that information as it's available. All right. Madam Chair, I see hands. Oh, request for the RFQ. Request for comment, it's actually probably an RFQ request for qualifications. It's the engineering report to help provide council with all of the information they need to make an intelligent decision about, and they are looking, so what they're doing is hiring an engineering firm to come back and say, we think you should or should not put it in the park for these reasons, or this is what it would cost, and here's the long-term challenges of that location. We think you should or should not put it up at the top of Brewery Hill. These are the challenges. Yeah, they're looking at, and in fairness, it's not excluding other opportunities as part of the description, but they're focusing specifically on those, and they're going to come back and basically say, here's what we think the cost would be, both to build and also long-term maintenance, and these are what we think the limitations of those specific locations are and what the impacts are to the surrounding communities. And that basically, the goal of that is to present that information to council so they can start their process.
Thank you. So on this topic, will the request from Red Lodge Ice through the RFQ be made public, the language in the RFQ?
I don't see a problem with doing that.
Well, I was gonna say it should be. That's usually like a publicly noticed.
Usually there.
That's usually how you hire people, is you ask for job applications.
Yeah, it'll actually be in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Just in the event I'm not making any
Yeah.
press, if Red Lodge Ice as the contractor had a preference, could they put language in the RFQ that would aid their preference? So it would be, maybe not, but it would be good to see that publicly.
Sure.
What-
I
what the
imagine
ask-
that will be public. We can certainly press that it is. Yeah,
And that's part of why the city has to sign off on it before it goes out specifically.
yeah.
The city has to sign up
The-
on the
the-
RFQ language?
Yeah, the city, and specifically the Public Works Director, has to sign off on the language for the RFQ before it goes out.
All right.
And could I also clarify that, the public will be able to look at that engineering report?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And that will be out for a while, but that's gonna be not just out for the public, but there's gonna be public comment and public meetings specific around that as well.
That's part of the RFQ and that RFP policy process, which is why we're doing that, because the state dictates what's involved, and it includes public meetings.
Okay. Next up, process for designating, we have 4 minutes, so this should go quick.
Mhm.
Process for designating and changing the use of city-owned land, updates and next steps.
So,
4 minutes.
we didn't have it for this meeting, but I anticipate we will get it before the next one. So, did I include you on that request? I was thinking I had included you. The request was sent to our planner and said, here is the link, here is the everything. Council has requested that you come to us with a proposed finished product that they can then comment and go
And
from
even
there.
before that, I just want to have a conversation with us.
Okay.
That would be, like, he can take the stuff that we have, look at it, we can talk with him, give him, again, I just want to make sure that we give direction with it before getting the final project, so that way certain things aren't being missed in that.
Yeah.
And also just hear his previous experience, so then we can have an idea of what to expect as a final product. I think that would be nice.
And it's not final until you say it is.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
have him come to the
I just-
4:30.
But to have them.
I'd hate to waste his time by
Exactly.
saying, like, this is nothing like what we wanted. Again, part of the reason I think having those preliminary meetings are so important, but, okay, any other public comment in the next 3 minutes? Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Like, this is great. Anyone online? I want coffee. I got coffee. Oh, I just have only sugar. Now I need to equal it out with caffeine. Okay, in that situation, we will adjourn this meeting.
Okay.
Good work, kids.